This is a great project if you are just starting out with hand tools. It teaches you measuring, it teaches you saw, it teaches you plane techniques, it teaches you how to read the timber you're working with. And at the end of it, you've got something very useful you can use. G'day, I'm Steve Hay. Welcome to Woodworking Masterclass and the Workbench, where I'm starting to develop basic woodworking skills. In previous videos, I've discussed how to use and tune a block plane and a bench plane. I want to use a couple of other specialty planes and also bring the saws into plane. We're going to make a chopping board from scratch just with hand tools. Here's a bit of rough torn. I actually don't know what it is. I think it's blackwood. I'll find out once I start planing it. But it's got splits in this end that we've got to cut out, and this end it's got a slight twist in it, so we've got to sort that out as well. But we'll end up making a very nice, beautiful and practical bit of kit that you can have at the barbecue or in the kitchen. Or, if you want, give it away as a present. So let's go. First things first, I want to see how far these cracks are in. So I'm going to just go by eye and see where they are on the surface and draw a line, and then I'll cut that off, and then I'll look at the end grain and I'll see if the cracks are going further than I can visually see at the moment. These cracks I can see are even more pronounced here, so we'll go there. There's one there. So out of that nice big board, we've actually lost about 200 mil or 8 inches. But that's still going to be a good enough board to use. So I'll just draw a line down here so I know where I'm working to. Now with a knife, I'm just going to score down that line that I drew with a pencil on both sides. And run a chisel up on the waist side of each one. It's definitely blackwood. I can't go right across, so I'll just spin the board around and do the same here. What I've done there is made a registration line for the saw to go up against. And you can tell by that wobble that it's got a twist or a bow or a cup in it, which we'll sort that out later on. But right now I just want to cut these off. I've discussed bench hooks before. They are really a good bit of kit if you're going to get into doing a lot of hand bench work. I'm using an 8 TPI rip saw. Put some wax down the blade. Start to cut off. It's pretty hard, this timber, so we'll see how we go. There we go. I could just as easily put this in the vise and cut downwards, but doing it this way I find it's more accurate. A little bit more candle. This just stops the blade from binding and aids in the sawing. Trick when sawing, make sure your finger is pointing the way you want to saw. So instead of holding the grip like that, you'll find the blade will wobble. If you put your index finger out, lay it on the side of the handle, you get a much more accurate cut. Don't rush it, let the teeth do the work. I'm through at the back. Just taking the middle bit out now. And there we have it. If you have a look there, the crack seems to have stopped and is not going through. So we'll take off the other side. Start your cut off. Doesn't matter if you start at the back or the front. And at this stage, let the saw, the weight of the saw, do the work. There we go. Two nice clean ends. The board could have a twist in it, so we'll just check that now. Something else you can make yourself. They're called winding sticks. These are made out of hardwood and they're square, they're parallel and they're straight. The idea being you put one either end of the board like that and you sight down the board. And in this case, yeah, this end here is a little bit higher than this end, so I know there's a twist in it. What I have to do is take this down. Not by much. What we're aiming for at the moment is to get one flat surface. Once we've got a work face, then we can shoot one of the edges square, and then we can plane the other side parallel. So I'm just going to mark that with a pencil and work in this local area here. Most of this job I'm just going to use a number 8, and then we'll finish it off with a number 3. And it'll become apparent why I use a long plane. I don't need one as long as this for this job, but I like using it, so I will. All I want to do is take some high spots off here. That's taken a fair amount off, so I'll just see how much more I've got to go. A little bit more. One of the main reasons for using a long plane is because I want contact at this side of the board as well as this side. If I were to use just a short plane that didn't reach both sides and I'm planing here, I can actually dig a hollow in there. So this side would remain high. But I'm going to go back and use the number 8. At this stage I'm not worried about any tram tracks I might leave or any tear out on the edge. I just want to get that twist out. And that has gone. If you sight down there, you'll see those two bars are pretty close to being at the same level. It's more evident when it's not shaking, but I'm shaking because that board's heavy. So now I've got that down and I know it's reasonably flat. I'm not worried if there's a hollow in here. This longer plane is going to level that out. And it won't take very long.